I guess I can start with an introduction to this series in case this is the first video you're watching here. This is going to be a long one since I'm wrapping up the entire My Modular Journey series here on YouTube. So buckle up, grab a hot cocoa and a blintz, and enjoy me droning on for an hour about why I think you should care about anything I have to say. Here we go. First, what is this My Modular Journey nonsense all about? A brief history is that in July of 2021, I pulled the trigger on my first Eurorack modules after turning my nose up at this Eurorack thing for decades. I never understood the point of these very expensive modules having to be patched together just to make ear-bleeding screeches, which, by the way, I have absolutely come to appreciate in 4 years. But what really got me was the day I stumbled upon brilliant artists using modular as it was meant to be used, making actual music, more so, and specifically, making generative music. So what is generative music? Generative music is an approach to making music in which systems, rules, and interactions are designed to produce sound autonomously, or at least semi-autonomously, with the composer shaping the behavior rather than directly composing every note. In a modular context, this typically means using control voltages, random or probability-based sources, feedback paths, and conditional logic to create evolving musical results that change over time, often without repeating exactly. The focus shifts from sequences to processes, allowing the music to unfold, react, and surprise while remaining within the boundaries defined by the artist. Now, when it comes to me, I use the term artist very loosely. While in my real life, I have been a singer, songwriter, and composer for over 40 years, with hundreds of songs to my credit, I say loosely because my modular experiments have been a lot of random noise. For example, if you look over the view count on literally any of my Sonic Experiment videos here, you will see no more than 100 to 200 views on videos that are years old. So this tells me I am not creating music with modular that anybody gives a rat's hantavirus poopin' ass about. The only good news for my frail ego is that the people I consider to be way more talented in both modular and non-modular music creatively also get 100 to 200 views on their videos that are years old. My conclusion here is that there is just so much music per genre, far more than there are listeners per genre, that unless you are a fan, these algorithms just can't keep up. It can't present millions, if not billions, of sonic experiments from millions of creators who may upload every single day, or multiple times a day, and end up getting that 100 to 200 views in 5 years. So what I'm trying to say here is don't take it personally. It isn't necessarily that your creations suck, it's that the serveware platter that presents the entire universe of options is only so big. You want thousands or millions of views, you actually have to go out and get them. I guess I wandered off the what is generative path a bit, but it kind of is all relative. Lots of normies actually detest generative music, especially ambient generative, because they just don't like the genre. It does not mean that generative ambient music sucks, because those of us who do love it really love it. I can listen to ambient soundscapes 24/7 by 365. I love it. So that may be just one more thing to consider when you post a Sonic Experiment in 2022 and 3 years later it only has 200 views. Yeah, it's not you. Not really. My ultimate statement here is you have to create what you love, and if you are creating for clicks, then you have the wrong motivations and will likely be disappointed. Moving on. Speaking of my own Sonic experiments, the only one of mine that got any real traction was my experimentation with Cardinal Synth, a free virtual modular rack back in 2022. As a creator, this tells me people are very interested in this specific VST. It does not mean my creations with Cardinal Synth were any good, but people checked it out just the same. This is also what I do when I go looking for new things I'm interested in. The content might not be all that great, but I watch the videos anyway to get ideas on A, do I want to try this instrument myself, and B, will I get any ideas for creations of my own by watching others? And the answer is yes to both. I think around 75% of my Sonic experiments posted here were happy accidents. That is, me plugging stuff in, twiddling knobs until something magical, at least to me, starts happening. So I rolled the audio and video capture just in case I liked it. I have hundreds of these creations, and most were abysmal, but they're fun for me to review on occasion. A few of them, 45-ish, were good enough to post to YouTube, or so I thought. The view counts are not my measure of whether my experiment was a success, re my previous point about saturation and genre avoidance. But what I do really enjoy is even on the low view count videos, the community of enthusiasts will make uplifting comments about something they liked about the track, or ask a question, which I will always love trying to answer. And of course, I do have to mention my favorite serial disliker. Thanks, dickhead. Moving forward on this channel, my sonic experiments will continue to be a thing, mostly using my Eurorack modular collection because I really do love what comes out of these little devices. Initially, in pre-2021, I had some self-righteous opinions about bleeps and bloops and no comprehension why anyone in their right mind would find this fascinating. Boy, have things changed. I guess this is proof that people can change their mind once they step outside of their echo chamber. Case in point, 2021, I was making some of the most obnoxious noises and I actually did not hate them. I laughed out loud a lot. And that alone is part of why my love for modular grew so strong in those first few months. I went on a buying spree to get more and more noisemakers, as I called them. Oscillators and filters and effects, etc. And mostly privately, I've made some really questionable sounds come out of this house. I think I told the story that one day my mail carrier got out of her truck and actually knocked on the door to ask me what the hell was going on inside my house. True story. Needless to say, my love of absolute chaos noise, and I don't mean white, pink, red, or brown. I am talking about Benjamin or Wogglebug, or ultra-random analog redux type chaos, or even quad VCO, System 100 121 oscillators, or Odessa self-patched sync cross-mod madness, where I end up getting tones out of these modules that just give me goosebumps. Now again, I realize this is just my personal reaction to audio, and almost no one else on Earth hears what I'm hearing. But the point of this entire journey is not what you like, it's what I love. And folks, I love modular synthesis. So in a way, I guess I can summarize my entire journey that it started out with an interest in generative ambience, my favorite genre to listen to, and has evolved to include normie music and abnormie noise and chaos, with equal love to all these genres. As always, at the end of a season, I look back over the year or so, mostly to see if I actually did anything. Since this is the conclusion to the entire My Modular Journey series, let's do a series in review now. My journey into Eurorack Modular began specifically to learn generative ambient because I love that sound so much. Go check out State Azure's Folding Space, for example, as that is literally the generative piece I heard that triggered me to take this dive. As I keep saying, Pat, this is all your fault. And thank you. So here's the full series recap. I'll put links to these playlists in the description if you're interested in these years' worth of effort. The journey started after months and months of researching into what the best modules to start with were, and my conclusion was Platts, Rings, and Monsoon. That's it. 3 noisemakers. And I also learned that Pamela's new workout was not only a great clock source with 8 outputs, but also random voltage generator, LFO, Euclidean pattern generator, and a ton of other things. Couldn't go wrong. My day one utilities were MIDI because yes, I actually thought I was going to play modular with a keyboard. And finally, IntelliGel outs, which is still my main interface between modular and my DAW. Oh, and by the way, I have finally been convinced on the pronunciation of Platts.
I still have my very cute Lara Croft plaits in my hair from the Game Awards tonight.
If Alex says these are Platts, then they are Platts. I stand corrected. End of discussion. The 2021 module count grew far more rapidly than I had planned. I had a plan, damn it, and it wasn't to buy 30 modules before October. But here we were. Since modules were flying in with reckless abandon, I decided to turn on a camera and film my exploration into modular so I could capture some of the random shit I would have had no chance to recreate, knowing absolutely nothing, yet purchasing more and more in rapid succession. 27 total modules, excluding the 15 that made up the full System 100, which is how I ended 2021. 2022 was no better, though a little slower. Only 21 new modules that year. Though this was also when I realized not everything I purchased was something I needed to keep. A year into modular, I started noticing a few modules that looked cool were not really practical in my use cases for whatever reason. This is when some of the first modules started being sold off. I needed to pump the brakes a bit and go back to in-depth research before buying my next module. 2023 is when things started to really fall apart, if I'm being honest. I purchased maybe 14 new modules, most of which were just fine, but a lot of real-life stuff was all hitting at once, as it does, and after making a few way overproduced attempts at being a fancy content creator, I collapsed from utter burnout from making videos. On a positive note, this was the year I achieved a goal 40 years in the making in May of 2023, purchasing my Yamaha C7 Conservatory Grand. As I'm sitting here right now, recording this video, I look 90 degrees to my left, and there she is, all huge and black and shiny, and covered with dust. And well, it goes without saying that my focus changed for months. Oh, and I almost died of COVID, so there's that. Thanks, Dean. I did get back to the Season 3 Journey videos in October and wrapped up the year quite nicely. Entering 2024 though, shit was about to go off the rails bigly. In January of 2024, I made the decision that after 35 years, it was time to leave Arizona and head up to the trees up north. This literally occupied 90% of my free time, planning and exploring and getting my current house up to spec to sell, which was costing thousands, much to my surprise. With 70% of my house packed in boxes and a realtor standing by, I got deathly sick. And I don't mean the flu or more COVID, I mean something was really, really wrong. From August on, I was seeing doctors and running tests, and I slept from August of 2024 until September of 2025. I did literally nothing with My Modular Journey in 2024. In fact, the conclusion video for Season 3 wasn't even posted until June of 2024. Instead, I focused on producing videos from a backlog of ideas I had for years, like my How I Do series or my custom rack builds series. Nothing anyone besides me was interested in, but again, my channel isn't about teaching anyone anything. It's about what I do and how I do it. If strangers get something from it, then that's great. I even dug up and dusted off a couple of my sonic experiments throughout the years and published my 5 volumes of My Modular Journey records that are available on Bandcamp. I published them to YouTube for eager listeners to enjoy. The rest of 2024 was mostly digging up old content and releasing videos just to not anger the algorithm gods, but they were very low effort. I did manage to end the year by recording and editing dozens of videos that I uploaded and pre-scheduled for a steady release in 2025, since I wasn't sure I was even going to still be around. On Earth, seriously, it was that bad. But for friends making my silence all about you, which takes us to 2025, I guess. After the pre-scheduled video supply started running out in April of 2025, I decided, in order to keep the trickle of content flowing, that I would just break down my AJH Synth Modules series into 15 more videos. This was also minimal effort, since they were already recorded and released in the 2-hour episode 2 of this season. I was able to sneak in a few more My Modular Journey episodes until August of 2025, now 1 full year after I started feeling awful. And by this time, it was 10 times worse. While this sounds all doom and gloomy, let me skip to the end where I tell you as of today, December 31st, 2025, I feel literally 1,000% better post-surgery, even though I'm still in the ongoing recovery phase. I cannot express how much better I feel, though still overweight and 60 plus years old, but I am back on track with my original intended plans from January 2024, yes, 2 years ago, to get the entire out of Arizona finally. The one positive side effect of being sick this year is I haven't been purchasing Eurorack modules. Honestly, it's not just from being low energy or having other plans, as much as the fact that I literally have everything I could possibly want as of December 2024. For now, what did I pick up in 2025? I seriously bought 1 new Eurorack module in all of 2025. It was just an expander to the NerdSec called the XOR Electronics Dual Cord for NerdSec. That's it. That's the only thing new since January of 2025. I tried 3 times to pre-order a VIC-X module, but since I was thinking I was going to be moving any day now, I kept canceling the pre-orders until I knew my destination, which, damn it to hell, is still Phoenix, Arizona. I could have had my VIC-X by now. After canceling that pre-order 3 times, I decided I would replace the missing Instruo looper from my life because I really, really loved the looper module and I missed it being in my collection. But that's it. An entire year, and I really only bought 1 new module. This part of my journey is over. That's not to say I will never purchase another thing ever again, because I do have my eye on a few more gems, such as a Morphogene. Not sure I'll do that, but I was thinking of trying a Morphogene. The Bastille Pizza looks like a pretty cool little oscillator. The SIG, the Stochastic Idea Generator, I'm not even sure what the hell that stands for. SIG. Batumi, the Batumi 2 and the Poti 2, I kind of want to see what the new Batumi does. I love my old one. And of course the Vic X. Someday I will own a Vic X. This part's going to be a lot of personal info, so if you do not care about real life details, do feel free to skip ahead. I won't judge you too much. I have an immediate goal, and not one other thing is going to be done until that goal is achieved. Now that I feel my energy level returning, I should be able to accomplish this with some Herculean effort. I moved to Arizona in September of 1990 after visiting my grandparents over my birthday weekend, and I witnessed a beautiful violent monsoon thunderstorm, nothing I'd ever seen in all my years growing up in Southern California. I literally drove home from Arizona with my brother, packed a bag of long-term clothes and some essentials like computers and music gear, and immediately drove back to Phoenix. And well, I have been here ever since. As much as I hate Phoenix today, looking back, it was a great decision to come here when I did, to get to spend years with my grandparents before they passed away in the late 1990s. I will admit, immediately after they were gone though, my first thought was to get the f*** out of here. I was looking north towards Seattle, Portland, Boise, because even 28 years ago, I had had it with the desert. So why did I stay? Well, I almost got married. Yes, to that one girl, same girl, for 15 years, on and off, and she did not like rain. We picked a house, my first house, together, and I thought that was my future. When that didn't happen, I had a house that I loved and I chose to stay, until the tech bubble burst and I lost the house, yet another tragic story, and in 2002 I had again thought to escape Arizona. But now I was poor white trash who just lost a beautiful custom home to foreclosure, so confidence was really low. So I stayed. It was this tech bubble burst era that burned into my DNA that I can never, ever, ever not have a job ever again. So the idea of moving to somewhere unfamiliar literally terrified me. And just like that, it was 2009. And if you recall, during that time, the real estate bubble popped and $800,000 houses were selling for $200K. My good friend at the time told me that buying right now would be a smart move. Since I had long forsaken any thoughts of fleeing Arizona, I went on a mission to find the perfect home, and that's where you find me today. I absolutely love the current home, I just hate the dirt it sits on, with every fiber of my being. I have been a 100% remote worker since 2019, and I currently work for a company that's not even based in the United States. So it occurred to me in January of 2024, I literally could live anywhere that has internet access, so why the f*** am I still in this desert? I was realizing that I hate Arizona more than I love my house, and I'm certain I will love my next house too. Since 1998, I have had one single destination, the Pacific Northwest, Portland or Seattle, or even inland a little like Boise, Idaho. These have always been my destinations, so almost 2 years ago I started a Zillow search, bookmarking amazing properties, and just watching them get bought up because I was not in a position to make offers yet. Working closely with my brother, who also has had this dream of Pacific Northwest living for 15 years or more, and he has had pen to paper ready to sign documents to buy his dream house, only to have bidding wars steal his dream out from under him. So in knowing that these are all possibilities, me getting froggy or hopeful ahead of time serves no purpose. I mostly use the Zillow to see what type of options there are, not really picking anything in particular. I know exactly what I want, but until the Phoenix house is packed, emptied, cleaned, and on the market for sale, I'm not really getting my hopes up for anything. But since you asked, my requirements are trees. Real trees, growing in the ground, and green, not brown or dead. A lot that is 5 acres or more, 0 neighbors, humans. I will never be near another filthy human as long as I live again. The house doesn't have to be huge, but it does have to have space for my home studio, and maybe a guest. As far as location, in order to be as far from filthy humans as possible, I expect to be in the hills or a rural area far from a city. which could pose a problem if the 100% remote jobs end, but I have a plan. My Phoenix house should sell and hopefully clear enough to pay cash for a rural home on some good dirt, which would mean no mortgage. Speaking of dirt, a lifelong dream of mine has been to grow food. Maybe not all of my food, but anything. Part of why I despise this desert so much now is because I've attempted numerous times to grow veggies in this hellscape, and the toxic soil and inferno heat destroy everything instantly. Before I die, I will grow a fucking tomato and eat it, goddammit. So that's what I mean by immediate goal. I stopped spending money on music or studio equipment or even modular gear, and I have been banking mad cash like a crazy person because I have one goal in my life, and that's to not die in Arizona. Moving on. Now I know I've stated since 2022 that I intend to produce more than just modular squeaks and generative ambient soundscapes. I have real music that I need to produce before my time here is up. The scary truth of that is there are far fewer days ahead of me than there are behind me, so no more fucking around. I need to get my music produced and out there, regardless of whether anyone likes it or not. It's a goal I've had since the 1980s. The only thing stopping me is time and asshole neighbors. Once I land in isolation, or the only sound I hear besides the beating of my own heart is the wind in the trees, every excuse I have ever made to not work on music is gone. If I still do not work on music, then that will sure suck balls, because that will mean the problem all along has actually been me, which I'm pretty sure we know is exactly the problem. Once the non-modular content starts heading to this journaling and diary channel, I'll likely rebrand it to JC Music or something that fits the long-term goals of my music efforts. Not sure how that's going to affect the community, but if you like me making nonsensical noise and talking, you may actually like my nonsensical music. I mean, real people in real life seem to like my music, so maybe there's one or two of you that will as well. That goal has been a goal the last 3 years, and I still haven't done it yet, so let's see if 2026 is more successful in this regard. Alright, I'm tired of talking, so I gotta wrap this up. For the immediate future, like the things that are coming up next in 2026, after I move, remember, I'm not doing one single thing until I'm not in this house anymore. I do still want to do a Desert Island video on some of my favorite Eurorack modules because there are a lot of favorites. So I kind of hope to put that together. It probably won't be a top 5 or top 10 kind of thing. It'll probably just be a here's the stuff I love. More than other stuff, here's the stuff I love. Another thing I thought about doing next year was kind of highlighting various artists that I really like on YouTube here. Creators that make beautiful music or do really cool videos. Kind of just highlighting them, like maybe an artist of the month kind of deal, highlighting 3 people every month that I really enjoy their content. And it's not really to help them because they don't need my help, but it is to say these are content creators that I really enjoy. So I thought about doing something like that. Another thing I want to do is a series on video game music because I have another channel here on YouTube that's not doing very well at all, but it is about video games and I absolutely love music. So I think I could collaborate with myself and between those 2 channels and make some video game music videos. The music is so beautiful in these games that it really kind of is starting to supersede or take over how good movies are because they're just so cinematic now. I absolutely love playing games. I thought about how would you do a video every day, and I just don't think I have that kind of ambition. But could I do it if every single day I just burped out something 2 to 3 minutes long, noodling with synths or VSTs, or just playing the piano, just sitting at the piano, improvising something, and exploring, more of the modular patches and different ideas. And they don't have to be complete full songs or ideas, I guess. They could just be stuff. Ideas or something to put up there. I don't know. I'm not really good at coming up with content ideas that other people enjoy. So, which, by the way, let me end on this. I am putting out some shorts, YouTube shorts and Instagram reels, against my better judgment. I really hate that format, but I'm doing it anyway because I have hundreds of little, under 2-minute clips from my modular journey, in fact, that never made it to any other videos. And I figured content is content. As far as the algorithm goes, I could stage all that stuff. It's pretty low effort. The shorts, I think, are pretty low effort, so I'll probably be doing that. I will try to keep them out of my subscribers' feed because I don't want to ding you every time I upload one. The only thing I care that other people see is stuff that I actually put an effort into, like these videos, these long format videos, and music and modular and stuff like that. The last thing I'll say for the near future is deep dives. That's kind of like the only thing I really have planned for 2026 is I want to break into all of these modules I now own and I've now used for a long time, and I want to get in deeper into them because I want to learn more about how they actually function instead of always guessing or missing 90% of their functionality because I didn't read the manual or I didn't experiment enough with it. So that's going to be the immediate goal of, next to that other goal, this will be the next thing I want to do as far as video production goes, is some deep dive stuff. I may start with something like Symphonian, even though that's pretty niche in what it does. I think I pretty much understand Symphonian pretty well, but I want to go through the manual and kind of just try everything that the manual says to do, which is the same thing I want to do for NerdSec, which is an enormous manual. I think it's 400 pages. It's huge. I would love to do a video user guide for some of my modules here because I struggle with finding information out there, and I want to kind of, even though I guess my module collection is pretty specific too, but I guess my hope is that showing how the stuff I own works might help somebody else figure out how to work their stuff. I guess that's all it's about. So we'll see. Okay, I'm finally done rambling. Here's the end. This has been the Season 4 conclusion and the conclusion to the entire series of My Modular Journey that ran from September 22nd, 2021 until today, New Year's Eve of 2025. It has been one hell of a journey, and I really, really, really appreciate everybody out there who has stopped by and watched my videos and commented and had discussions and the likes and the subscribes and all the YouTube stuff. It's nothing I ever expected to actually happen, so I'm pretty pleased because when your expectation is 0, even 1 is amazing. So thank you all again very, very much for hanging out, and please continue to hang out. I got more stuff coming. Just give me a little time to move and we'll get right back to things. So with that, I hope everyone had a very Merry Christmas, and I wish you a very happy, healthy, and prosperous 2026. Happy New Year, everyone.